Hey, how's it going, everybody? Phlinger here, and there's a bunch of tips I have learned by playing Remnant 2 for quite a bit, actually. I've got quite a few hours under my belt. But without further ado, let's pop in and let's talk about some of the things I've learned that I want to help out just to see, if they actually give you guys a little bit of edge up in the game as you're going forward. First one, the cube gun, the gun that you get rather early on while going through the second world on the labyrinth after the cube boss. This thing has unlimited ammo. It is amazing for clearing rooms and then just fighting things up front. It does overheat if you keep your finger on the trigger for quite a bit, but this thing will actually be extremely valuable for just breaking open everything, getting all that scrap, and then whenever you get in a really close firefight where you don't feel comfortable meleeing, just grab the cube gun and go to town. There is a couple other different sidearms that you can use, but I prefer the cube gun. This thing works out really, really well, and it does have unlimited ammo. I would like to reiterate that, unlimited ammo. All right, when selecting which long rifle you're going to use, honestly, I say go with that whichever one that feels more comfortable to you. There are some really nice ones that you find in the game, but I just like the slide shot 10-shot one that you get that you can buy from the vendor. It works really, really well. I love this thing. You can mod it. See, that's one of the things that it comes to having long rifles. When you get some of the really nice ones, yeah, they've got some really good perks on them. Matter of fact, there's some really good ones with really good perks. But by buying one from the vendor, you can actually mod that one with whichever mod you decide to put on it, which kind of makes it more personalized. But yeah, use whichever one you feel more comfortable with. But, if you're not finding one of those ones that just has the right hit that you like, buy one and then fix it up. They work out really, really well. When going hunting for all the different loot that you want, you could reroll your campaign, but I really wouldn't recommend that, at least till after you've gone and you've beaten the game at least once through, because the game really doesn't start until after you beat the campaign the first time. Beating the campaign is only about the first 20% of the game. The rest of it is re-rolling the campaign and also going through adventure mode. Adventure mode is a great tool. Use it and then just go on adventures and find all the different bits, because there's quite a few different ones. I've re-rolled adventure mode several times now, and each time I get a completely different one, even for the same world, and that's just the easiest way to find all the cool loot. It's really awesome. The next one we're going to talk about is explore everything. Crack open everything. Go down all the little bits. If you're looking over and you see a spot that you think you might be able to crawl through, try to crawl through it. You might actually be able to fit. Or, if there's a corner that you just can barely see around, go take a look. Chances are there's something over there. There's secret doors in this game, all sorts of stuff that you could just fit through and find all sorts of awesome loot behind it. I mean, serious, just let your inner loot goblin rage, because it will really get paid off. All right, the scholar trait. Now, here's an example of a thing that is intended for you to continue re-rolling the campaign after you have finally beat it, is because you don't get the scholar trait, which offers bonus XP, until after you beat the campaign the first time, which tells me that their intention was for you to beat the campaign and then just continue on doing all sorts of stuff, because that's where you get the scholar trait. So yeah, beat the campaign once, doesn't matter what difficulty, you still get it, and that is how you get all your extra XP. And yeah, let that XP flow. Max that sucker out as quick as possible. For the archetypes, find ones that actually work with you, but don't be afraid to mix and match them, switch them around depending on the bosses. If you're having a hard time with a certain boss, go and switch it up. I like to switch over to Handler Medic if I'm having problems, or Handler Gunslinger if I'm having problems with a certain boss. All depends on the boss, but a couple good ones that I've found right now, and really this is just my personal preference, are Gunslinger and Medic. They work really well together, and Handler and Medic. Handler and Medic is extremely hard to kill, and it's very, very good at just staying alive. But play whatever you want, but don't be afraid to mix and match if you get up against a rather rough encounter that you're just having a hard time on. Just swap over to another one, see if that one works for a little bit, and then just keep going at it, because that's really what this game is about. All right, your traits. It's really not super important where you put your trait points at early on, but once you get into the later game, trait points cap at 60. So having your own individualized build is absolutely a thing. So when you're going up through the original levels, really just put your trait points where you want. You can respect them fully eventually, but just know that they do cap at 60. So yeah, that's a lot that you can have, but they still cap. So once you get to a certain point, you're going to have to start choosing rather wisely. Just remember, they do cap at 60, but until you hit 60, who cares? All right, the armor has weight. Now, if you equip all the heavy armor that you possibly can, and then you start trying to roll, you're going to flop on the ground. Yeah, it's going to do a little bit of damage to whatever you flop on, but you're still going to be flopping on the ground. You're going to be stationary. So it's best to mix and match the different bits of armor until you find a certain level that you want. So say if you want the light, get the light armor, or mix and match and find something that actually works for you with the with the light armor. Or if you want a medium armor, you're fine with that 25% stamina reduction. Go ahead and get that. That's what I use, and it works out really well. If you want to go with the heavier stuff, then you also get another stat penalty. But when you get to the really heavy stuff, that's when you start flopping. So just know that the armor does affect how well you can maneuver around during these fights. And sometimes that can be the difference between life and death. So just pay very, very, very close attention to that. And then since there's no stat bonuses on the individual bits of armor, just find ones that you like the look of, that you actually gives you the best amount of armor for your buck, and just go with it. It's really helpful. There's all sorts of different armors throughout the game, all sorts of different loot that you can find, and yeah. All right, I hope these tips and tricks helped you out, because honestly, these are just things that I've discovered while playing the game. And I've got quite a few hours in the game so far. Honestly, I can't put this thing down. And yeah, I just hope they help you out. And yeah, make sure if you're new around here and you want to see more Remnant action, check out my second channel. That's where I post a lot of my Remnant stuff as I'm going through playing the game. My main channel is generally for survival games. But hey, yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you click that like button. I really appreciate it. If you're new around here, subscribe. And until next time, this is Phlinger Foo, and take it easy, everybody.